Welcome back to the viewers. This is the Tipped Out Podcast, episode 3. A little bit different format. This is our third podcast, but finally we have some little visual here for you. Hopefully we can bring more energy.
The new regime.
Yeah. So let's hop right into it, kid. So talking about Tiger and his son Charlie.
Yep. All right, so they are playing in the PNC Championship, which, from what I understand, is just I think it's a 2-day event, and it's like family, so you can have like a brother play with you, or in Tiger's case, his son is playing with him. I think the big question is like, how good is Charlie? You know,
That's true.
Because you read all the things. I mean, obviously he's sick. Like,
It's Tiger's kid.
He's shooting 33. Like he shot 33 in a U.S. Kids event. So he's 11.
I mean, what team?
When I was 11, I think I was shooting like 53. Yeah.
I wasn't sniffing that at 11. 11? What grade are you in at 11 years old?
That's 6th? Is it 6th?
Yeah, I was tossing up.
Let's see. Pre-K started 4th, kindergarten 5th, first 6th, second 7th, third 8th, fourth 9th, 5th. Yeah,
I'm tossing numbers.
It's like 6th grade.
Yeah, in the 70s, 80s for 9. Like there's no.
Yeah, dude. So
still doing that now.
The question I have then is, could we beat him, me and you best ball? Straight up. So it's his ball against our 2 balls.
Oh, I think so, bro. If it's you and I best ball against him, like you got his stats, bro. What are his stats? What are his
All right, so by 11 years old, he's 4'9".
I got him on the height.
I mean, he weighs in at 101 pounds. And this is as of August 17th, 2020. So, I mean, if he hit a growth spurt, man, he could be pushing 5 feet by now.
Jeez.
He could, yeah. He could almost weigh as much as me. Who knows?
Well, as a young kid, we know height is irrelevant.
I get, like, how far do you think he can hit it?
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't – like, mechanics are unmatched. We've seen him hit a ball next to each other, but that's what it comes down to. Like, what tees are we playing? Are we going to play – are we tipping it out? Of course we are. I mean, this is the Tipped Out podcast. Of course we're tipping it out.
Yeah, I would hope we can beat him if we make him tip it out. I'd hope he doesn't hit it further than I do. That'd be demoralizing.
Dude, I don't think
on the first tee, I'm first. Hit a good one. I'm like, yeah, that felt good. And he just hits it 20 yards past me. We're done.
Yeah, that would have me. That'd shake me up. I don't know. I don't. I think we got him.
I think we could beat him. I think obviously the course would matter. If he came to Delhi, he has no chance.
No shot.
You think greens 3, 4, 5, and 6? Dude, he's 11. He hasn't seen greens like that before. He just putted off the green.
I think we got to bring him into our world a little bit. You know, have him come by the house first.
No, yeah, Tiger, if you're watching this,
it'll come by the golf.
Great influence on your son.
But so now the real question. What about you and I against Tiger and his son? How many strokes are they giving us?
Dude, I don't even know. Like, so say we're playing best ball. So essentially, they're probably taking Tiger's ball most holes.
But then
Tiger's score.
You know, okay.
So if Tiger was to go out and shoot 65 on us, and then Charlie chips in on 2 holes for a 63, you and I, like, best ball, I mean, we're not going to do that. We could. We could if we were really hot and we ham and egged it.
All right. Well, episode 4 is probably going to be the post interview of that match we had with Tiger and his son.
Yeah. Yeah.
But all right. So next topic. Let's hop into that. We've already established that we're going to absolutely pummel Charlie Woods in a best ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely going yard on that. Tipping it out.
Let's skip over to kind of the thoughts on Bryson and then just the whole distance debacle right now in golf, which is interesting in my opinion. If you look at it, I think a lot of people are asking for a technology change or a way to combat the distance because I think it's too overpowering and people who hit it further are going to succeed more, which I don't know if I see that. I mean, I've looked at world rankings. Let's do this first. Top 10 guys in the world. I know you've looked at it recently, but give me 5 names that you think are on there, that you know are on there. Out of the top 10, 5 guys that you know are in the top 10.
Okay. So we got DJ.
Yep.
Rory.
Yep. The GOAT.
Yep. Let's go Bryson.
Yep. 3 for 3.
Is Morikawa on there?
He is.
Morikawa, okay. And how many did you say? Give you 5?
5 now.
You got one more?
Mm-hmm. You're 4 for 4 right now.
I'm 4 for 4. They changed that at, what is it, Wendy's?
It's 4 for 5 now, isn't it?
I think so. It's something not right. Anyway,
don't eat fast food. It's bad for you.
Let's go Webb Simpson.
Webb. That's one that you wouldn't have gotten if you hadn't just looked at it.
Exactly. That's where I was at.
Other names, Patrick Cantley,
Hmm.
Tyrrell Hatton. No one knows that those guys are top 10. Xander Schauffele. He's probably a little more known, but
you.
Anyway, distance to world golf ranking. There are really 4 guys that it looks like it has any sort of correlation with. DJ is first world golf ranking, 5th driving distance. Rahm is 2nd world golf ranking, 19th driving distance, and Rory is 4th world golf, 3rd driving distance. Other than that, everyone else, JT is tied for 87th driving distance, 3rd in the world. Every other guy on the list is outside the top 100 driving distance.
Wow.
So, I mean,
that's crazy. We've had this talk before in class with one of our professors about, everyone always says, short game is the key to scoring. It's the key to becoming a good, low handicap golfer. I 100% agree. And I think it was, I can't remember which professor it was, but remember that conversation we had about it's now becoming about who hits it the furthest. That's usually the best golfer. But I think it's only when you have like all those aspects together. I mean,
yeah, it's a balance.
DJ before. DJ isn't hitting it shorter or farther than he used to.
No.
He just is now an amazing putter. An amazing short game artist. Like he's got the other aspects to his game. Now he's a wholesome player. And
exactly.
Look what happens. He's Masters champion, multiple majors, first in the world. I heard a crazy stat the other day. If he holds it for a couple more weeks or something, he ties Tiger's like incredible reign at the top for how many weeks held at number 1. I think if he holds it until the new year or something.
Like in a row? I don't think it could possibly be in a row because wasn't Tiger's like insane?
Yeah, but I think he's getting close to that or something.
Maybe.
I think it is consecutive. We will fact check that, but it's.
I think that's gonna need a fact check. I'm gonna need a fact check on that. No, I wanted to touch on. Oh, balance. I mean, it doesn't matter. I feel like media, things like that, they like to just get caught up in one thing. It's so one-dimensional, distance. Then it's like equipment and it like and there's so much. It doesn't matter. You can take the guy who hits it 350, like long drive guys. They have no chance. It's all. I mean, this stage, it's how you bring all aspects day in day out for consistency. And there's guys that have it all and guys that don't. Like DJ, for example, if you look at his Masters stats, they're all just like he's top 20 in every statistic. His worst one is putting. Putting was his worst stat. And people like to be like, yeah, you have to have a good putting week to win, which he had a solid putting week. He didn't have the best putting week.
Yep.
But he was just good across the board. He was probably by average the best driver in the field. He was 6th driving distance and 13th in accuracy. So if you put both those together, no one's really matching that.
Yeah.
I mean, out of the guys that were ahead of him distance-wise, they all hit less fairways. So
everyone was so worried coming into the Masters that off Bryson's last win that he was just going to overpower the course, take over the game, and it goes to show that it's not always it. You're not always going to have a good week just because you're hitting it far. Granted, he's hitting it solid. He's hitting deep. He's hitting his targets, and he's deep.
But when it's offline, it's not good.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what my father's told me a bunch. It's the farther you hit it, this just means the farther you get to hit it offline. Like
that's true to an extent.
It just goes to show that it's just gonna the game is changing, mindset is changing. But to go back to what you were saying, how everything is so distant in the media, I think it's that way due to the fact that as the majority of golfers, the consumer market of the golf industry, think about how many times you've talked to a client and they say, they tell you what they want. Yeah, I want to hit it farther. Like you gotta put in on a chip shot, like those little things that they see the pros do, they want, but they don't take into consideration all the other factors, the amount of time practice, all that kind of stuff. So when the media has a chance to have some propaganda and post, this new driver is going to make you deep like Bryson, or, we got to change the game because golfers are getting too deep, that kind of stuff. It's just kind of like a gimmick, and it's nothing that to be worried about in the industry. I think Tiger and Nicholas touched on it before, what they would do if the topic of distance is ever too much. What would they do in terms of the equipment? I think they said they would change the ball. They would just have the ball be a little different, whether it's size, shape, aerodynamics. Kind of just the ball's hot, club faces are hot. Everything's jailbroke technology. Everything is seemingly maxed out each year, and yet we find something else. In terms of distance, though, how would you create distance? What do you think is one of the top ways to create distance, whether it be, of course, it's going to have to be off the course, right? Like you're not going out there and then just all of a sudden creating speed.
Oh, no. You have to, it comes slowly. This is funny coming from me because I hit it so far. But, if you watch or see anything about what Bryson has done or what some of these guys are doing now, it's more, and people have known it for a while. It's not about it is how hard you go at it, but it's how you go about going hard at it. You're not going hard at it, but just throwing your upper body at it and stuff like that. Your arms are your levers. So that's where a lot of speed comes from. Effortless speed comes from being able to move your arms quickly. And then the timing of that with the rotation of your body, I would say, is really what creates the most speed. Yeah. And I think there's a lot to be said about just literally training your arms to move fast. If you have the super speed trainer sticks, or if you do like Bryson's practice, he literally sits there, I think, with a driver and just swings it as hard as he can, but in the proper sequencing. And you have to train your arms to be able to move that fast. It doesn't just happen,
No, definitely. It's you are training your body to move faster. It takes time, like you said. It's and that's some of the thing that the majority of golfer or the high handicap golfer might not understand is that golf is a very physical game. You have to be an athlete to play at a very high level, whether it's nutrition, whether it's the duration that you're going to be out there walking. They're walking each tournament. They do practice rounds walking. When they're practicing at home, I assume they're walking so that they can prepare their body for those tournaments. But then they put into the gym and stuff like that. They're just a great little training thing I like to do at the end of a range session if I'm working on a driver or some of the longer clubs is, set 5 balls aside and hit 3 of them as hard as you can. And the other 2, have it be your fairway finder swing. And then the median of those 2 is what you're going to use on the course. You don't want to guide it and you don't want to swing uncontrolled. And some may think Bryson is swinging truly out of control. But from my perspective, in my opinion, he's not. His proper body mechanics. He has a crazy setup with all the same length clubs, irons. My bad. And he's a spectacle of the game. But it's definitely you gotta train your body to move quicker. And then it comes into not flipping, rolling. The matchups. So the faster you move, the more chance there's of error and just improper mechanics. So that's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why we practice, right? That's why Bryson always talks about how much he practices. Probably. I mean, he's moving. He's trying to hit it that far. There's a lot of room for error. He's got to be able to have it when he's on the course. And if he messes up, no bueno. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. You talked about you looked into Sergio putting with his eyes closed at all, or no?
I did. So that was crazy to see for me. It goes back to how mental putting is, how mental golf is in general, and that's why Sergio has kind of done what he's done. So I read an article saying that it goes back to almost 2017 that he's putted with his eyes closed, sets up and everything, visualizes like crazy, and then will just close his eyes. And what it does is it frees him up. So he's been struggling in the past with, just kind of either seeing line, gaining speed, or just having that creativity on the green. So when you can kind of free yourself up in any way, whether it looks silly or not, these golfers out there I'm not worried about what they look like. They're trying to get that paycheck. They're trying to hold that trophy. And that's the cool part about it. They're not worried, And
I don't think it's anything anyone would notice either. I mean, I had no idea he's putting with his eyes closed,
But yeah, he did it apparently in this Masters, and then he did all the way back to 2017 in some tournaments. It just frees him up. Just like the fad when Jordan Spieth was so hot. My favorite player. He used to just look at the hole on his shorter putts. Mm-hmm. He said that freed him up as well. And of course, I'm going to do that. I'm a big Spieth fan, so I remember doing that a couple years ago, and it's cool. It's a different side of it, and you can do it training wise or during a round. Don't be afraid. That's something for our listeners. Is don't be afraid to try something new. If it's going to help your game or free you up, whether it's you got to switch putters, you're not putting that good, switch putters, whether it's just a new perspective, take a little time away from the game, whatever it may be, kind of spark some fire back under you and just get yourself back on track. And, golf is a game where the ball is not moving. It's not soccer. It's not hockey. It's not football. There's really no contact other than of the relationship from your arms, hands, club to the ball. So other than that, it's just you and your mind and how creative you can be out there. So
yeah, don't let your buddies making fun of you stop you either. Exactly. I mean, if it's working for you, then go ahead and do it. I mean,
that's all that matters. Just allow yourself to try some new stuff, free yourself up. And I think that was the main takeaway from Sergio was just you can see, how dedicated these players are to finding the next big thing for them or just staying hot.
Totally. I know a guy that putts with his eyes closed.
Who's that?
And if he gets hot time to time, starts making a lot of putts. Chris Felix.
Chris Felix? Oh, yeah, you said that. That's nice. Yeah. That's cool.
He can play, so
is the same thing?
he doesn't care what people think.
Yeah, is it to free him up a little bit? Is that the same mindset? Or is it something
I think so, yeah. I know he gets a little, like, sometimes he gets giddy over shorter ones. And if he just closes his eyes, he's not worried about, the task at hand. He's just thinking, feeling his stroke, and he just strokes it. And then whatever happens.
Next time you hop out there, whether it's practice or play, give that a shot, listeners. Give that a shot. See if you like it. Try it on longer, shorter. I think, too, I've definitely tried it myself. You'll know how good your mechanics and your setup are.
Yeah.
You'll feel it. Your hands and everything will move, kind of swerve on the path. You'll be able to feel if you're hitting it center or not, or even throw some face tape on your putter.
It's a great way to explore your feel, figure out how good your feel actually is.
Yeah.
I want to go back a little bit back to statistics.
Okay.
Because a lot of amateurs don't keep their stats.
Mm.
I'm a culprit of that from time to time. I don't always keep my stats. I can keep them in my head, though, and kind of go from there. But definitely something important to pay attention to and a way to assess your game and figure out how to improve. What would be you have to pick one area of the game someone has to improve on to yield the best results. What would that be for you? Or if there's not one, like, what's your take on that?
Personally, or like just speaking in general terms for a
In
client?
general. You can take your personal experience with it, and then what's your general advice to somebody?
So the particular part of the game I would suggest working on, well, first, track your stats. You're going to be able to see a lot from that. You'll be able to kind of decode your own game. But I would honestly say hitting greens and regular is huge.
DJ finished one in that in the Masters.
Wow.
DJ was number one in that in the Masters, hitting 83% of greens, that's pretty solid.
Yep. So if you think about it, so of course we can break it down to however possible, but okay, so you don't hit the fairway, now you're in some deep rough, now you can't reach the green. We know that very well from playing 2K on Xbox. It's just going to put a 5-iron in your hand. You can't reach this long par 4. So it's a struggle, but no,
fast.
Yeah, it's going to be fast and it's going to be slow on the chip. But no, all joking aside, hitting the green is just going to give yourself a chance to make that two upper par, green under regulation, whatever it may be. But that's another thing too. Is no, I'll let you go ahead. What would be your topic of discussion?
So I was thinking about it earlier. It's kind of a cop-out answer, but it's just balance. From keeping your stats, you figure out where you're good, where you're bad, right? So then from there, I want to improve my bad area and then keep my good, hopefully. So, like, for me personally, I felt like the most consistent improvement to my game was my improvement in ball striking, which, again, goes to your greens. But I've kind of always been a good short game player because I've never hit it that far, and I had to rely on something to get it in the hole. And I just played a lot, and then the more you play, the better you get. So short game was there. But for me, as soon as I started going, okay, I'm hitting the ball crisp a lot more, and I'm hitting more greens, that's when body of work-wise, my scores in general got a lot better, and it was a lot easier for me to just go out and be like, okay, I can shoot 74, no issue. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I think if you're new to the game and you're looking to improve your game the fastest, I would say short game. It's the easiest to improve upon. and you can see immediate scoring results. If you stop 3-putting every hole and you 2-putt everyone, there's 18 shots better, you know?
Yeah.
So.
No, it's so true, and that comes down to it. That's why I love playing short courses. We have a nice short course around the corner from my house here that my dad and I usually play, and I just love being able to, whether it's a short iron or kind of just work on that part of your game. The mid irons, the short irons, get up and down, and of course putting.
Scoring zone, baby.
It really it's wild. It's when you start working on those things and having a structured practice around those topics, you really start to see improvement, and it's nice. It compounds for sure.
Totally. And then I would definitely say kids that are, or not necessarily kids, people that are kind of in that intermediate zone of, okay, I'm pretty good, but how do I get better from here? So like you like a 10 handicap, somewhere in there. I think a big thing stats-wise, the way I kind of look at it around is, okay, first off, you got to keep it in play. One of the kind of most important shots, which people overlook, is just, do I have a driver, kind of a swing with driver that's going to be hopefully in the fairway in front of me and still far enough. So I'm still getting it out there 235, 240, 250, however far you can hit it on average. And then I want to hit 12 greens around statistically, right? Which we still don't do all the time. But if that's your target, right, you hit 12 greens, you hit the ball well, and your short game's decent, pretty solid, and you're getting it up and down 50% of the time. So those 6 greens you've missed, you're getting it up and down on 3 of them.
Yep.
And you're not 3-putting, the worst you're going to shoot 75, right?
Yep.
And that's or 3 over, but that's a very ideal situation. That's kind of the way you want to look at it, right? So that's spurring from what you're doing from the tee, setting up to hitting greens, and then from however many greens you hit, ideally, if you have a decent short game, you can put up a solid score from there. So that goes back to you talking about hitting greens. So obviously every factor is important, but I think for sure hitting greens stress-free.
It comes down, the last piece of it, bro, like you said, it comes down to knowing your stats.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that probably through like Shot Shaver smart cards. You know, that's a revolutionary design and product. Sponsor us. It's great. It's a subscription service to track your stats, gets put in all those things for you. All you do is send a picture in of the scorecard, but just a big takeaway from today: track your stats, see where you're at. Keep stats. Track
That's better.
Pad your stats. Whatever you got.
Don't pad them.
Pad them. That's why that shit's got an eraser.
Don't lie to yourself either.
Don't lie to yourself. Never do that. It just never works out in the game of golf. We're wrapping it up there.
I think that's probably pretty good. How long did we just go for?
What do we got? 38 minutes? Yeah, bro. We're going to wrap it up.
Lovely. I think it was good. Solid.
Good and solid. That's all you need.
Any takeaways or no? Keep your stats.
Keep your stats. Don't be afraid to try anything for improvement purposes.
Know your strengths and weaknesses from your stats.
Yep. Tip it out and hit it deep. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Be athletic. Don't fear anything.
Nothing to fear but fear itself, my friend.
And you. and Charlie Woods.
Yeah, Charlie Woods and Tiger Woods coming for our terrific. All right, brother. Well, another great podcast.
Indeed. Yeah, so thanks for listening. If you have any questions, please feel free. Hit up Balance Performance. I believe there is also a tipped out Instagram now.
There is. Let me make sure of the handle. It will be live, active, and updated by the time. Yep. So we got tipped_out out. That is our Instagram. We will be making other social medias to go along with this podcast soon. And if you're watching this, of course, if you're watching the video, this is up on YouTube. And if you're listening to the audio file on whatever platform you may choose, go ahead and check out the YouTube or the visual representation of this podcast at Brandon Palmer on YouTube or Balance Performance on YouTube. You'll find it under both. Awesome, brother.
Signing off.
Waiting for podcast number 4. But thank you for listening to podcast number 3, Tipped Out Podcast with Brandon Palmer and Daniel Christy. Peace and love.